We're standing here in the monastery of the Knights Hospitals at Mourne Abbey in County Cork, just a few miles south of Mallow. Now, the Knights Hospitals originated in the Middle East in the late 11th century as a group of Benedictine monks who established a hospital for the sick poor in Jerusalem. Because of their involvement with the Crusades, kings and knights and lords all across Europe rewarded them well with lands and money to support their efforts in the Holy Land, and in time they began to establish monasteries all across Europe. They arrived here in Ireland in the early 1200s with the Normans and established about 12 monasteries here in Ireland, including this one here in Mourne Abbey. The site here at Mourne Abbey was founded in the early 1200s. We don't know the exact date, but we know that it was here in 1212. We have confirmation of that from a papal letter of 1212. So what we're looking at here behind me now is the church of the monastery, the Hospitalist Church. It was what we call a cruciform church, a cross-shaped, so one long nave and choir and two arms or transepts, one to the south and one to the north. The one to the north has disappeared completely. There are still traces of the one to the south, and what we're working at here now is to expose the remaining foundations of the southern transept with a view to exposing the foundations, having them conserved. Hopefully the County Council and stonemasons will do conservation work on the remaining foundations, and that way they'll be preserved from grave digging in future. Yeah, the arch here behind me and another matching one here on my right, these are the doorways into the transepts. We're standing now in the choir of the church. Typically a large medieval church is divided into two sections, nave and choir. The nave is the western end of the church, that's where the congregation would have sat for Mass, and the choir at the eastern end is where the monks would have sat. The monks' stalls, wooden stalls, would have been ranged along the walls here at each side, and the high altar was here to the east. There would have been a fine east window there that has collapsed completely now. But these arches then would have led into the transepts, the north transept and the south transept. And there might also have been other smaller side altars in the transepts, or private altars. Some of the local gentry, the local Norman lords, like the Cogans or Barretts, might have had their own private altar in the transepts. One of the most unusual features about this transept is the curving or apsidal end. These are very rare in medieval Irish architecture. As far as I know, there's only one church has been found with a curving end, but the apses were usually at the east end of the main church, where the main altar was situated. It's very rare, possibly unique, to find an apsidal end to a transept.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Wow. When you go to get maybe the County Council now to restore that with stonemasons and so on, will you rebuild it up with up height?
Just bring it above ground level like they've done up there, just to make it visible.
So that it isn't destroyed.
Exactly, so the grave diggers and everything will know that it's there, and that will preserve it then for the future. But they will never actually build it up to any great height.
Yeah.
That's very, very unusual.
It's a nice shape too. You can see it's well defined.
It is very well done, and it almost looks as if it's an addition. Now we won't know until we've seen it a bit more here. But